That statement that the victory stand was done only a few minutes before the victory stand. I have been asked more than once, well, you had the gloves, didn't you get the gloves before? Yes, I did. I was prepared to do something. I didn't know what. It was only decided in the dungeon. It was only done a few minutes before then. And John Carlos, Tommie Smith, and Peter Norman did talk about this, what might happen, what could happen if we do the same things. Because the statement would be much stronger. It would be undeniably positive to what we were trying to accomplish in the human rights feeling. And it was viewed negative because people looked at it as a black power salute, looked at it as something that would very critical to the process of equality, but it wasn't. It was just the opposite in terms of the hope of freedom. It was an Olympic project for human rights, not black rights, not Hispanic rights, not Asian rights, but human rights, which is a culmination of the human being. And that's where the power of that stand is. I am Tommie Smith, the 1968 Olympic gold medalist in the 200 meters. World record time of 19.83, the first time, in fact, that furlong has been run under 20 seconds right here on the track in Mexico City. Well, there were things going on that I knew about, but didn't know enough about to say anything about at that particular time. The student massacres we learned about late because it was a late thing. We knew that the students were protesting, but there was stuff, STUFF, all over the planet dealing with social change. But Tlaxcala, Mexico here was one of the worst because so many students were killed. That is very, very sad. All the students were trying to do is make a social change. And like most governments, status quo is more profound than anything else, which is sad in most cases. But we did know, and my race in most cases was run the way it was because of the students' tragedies and their sacrifices. It was a needed gesture of social change. You see, this particular gesture had never been done before, especially by the black athletes. In fact, young'un, it was the first time in the history of athletics that athletes have taken a stand to represent or to involve themselves in a movement such as the Olympic Project for Human Rights. And there are those who are saying, why would you use athletics to do this? Well, I was not a physician. I was not anything else but an athlete. So I used my strength to bring about a change which was caused a positive, intuitive action by athletes that involved the entire planet, which was human rights, human nature. The massacres of our Mexican students that happened here, that involved them. In fact, they were #1 on that list of identification after that victory stand because of what caused this to happen. Things like that shouldn't have to be caused to happen. The victory stand shouldn't have happened, but it had to happen because of social change, social initiative. It was out of my power for it not to happen, but it was in my power for it to happen because I was on the victory stand, using what I knew to help people out to move forward. So this is a big problem with the human nature, the identification of the need through sacrifice. You see, there's redemptive measures in positive sacrifice, but you have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to have something to sacrifice for, and you have to have a platform to make that sacrificial moment. It's going to be the same from here on. The process of thought, the process of conversation is the important thing. There is no way you can cook a meal in the oven unless you turn the fire on, no matter how hungry you get. So we need work to make that fire cook what you've already put in. What I did on the victory stand, I put it in the oven. Now people got to turn the fire on for it to work, for it to taste good, for it to do something good to the system. The identification of purpose is very relevant to the massive ongoing of positivity. Preparation, son, preparation. Prepare to do what's necessary for a positive ending. Don't do it because your buddy do it. Don't do it because somebody's standing behind you. You might turn around and find out that that person standing behind you is not there. You or a group would have to have purpose in doing what you're doing. Okay? You have to have a platform. Yes, there is relevance in moving forward against status quo. But you've got to have purpose in doing it because status quo have law on their side. The laws are changed. You have to sacrifice to make those laws. Don't excite a riot because you don't have the intent of a formative layout for a positive ending. There's going to be problems. And hopefully those who want to make the change is not the problem. They have already been identified as the problem makers because they want that change. And as the world turns, change is going to be relevant to move humanity forward. Fantastic. Kids keep on growing. They're not on bottles anymore, are they? They're not on bottles. They don't have bottles anymore, right? No pacifiers, okay? You're grown folks now.